Thank you very much. Okay, back to oil and gas. So I'm excited to discuss India's offshore potential with 4 representatives of ship owners. And we shall start with the current status of the offshore market. Captain Rahul, what's the current state of the market? Who are the key players, and how has the sector evolved?
Thank you, Konstantin, and thank you for Marine Money for organizing this seminar. It's interesting, we have the offshore sector being spoken, which is not so frequently spoken in the shipping conferences, so thanks a lot. Well, coming on to the offshore sector, let's define who drives the offshore sector. Today, the only player or the prime player is ONGC in India, which is running the oil exploration in India. With the urbanization and economic growth in the country, increased large population, surplus funds with the younger generation, there's a huge demand for oil. And that is not being coped up with the production that we are doing. So there is a difference between the consumption and the production. Viewing that, there was a board meeting called about 2 years back in May 22 by the ONGC, and they looked at it the way how to increase the production. A production plan was made out, a roadmap was made out, and it was decided to invest almost $3.5 billion in next 3 years, which if I say so, it's almost 150% more than what was being spent earlier. And that's where they found out the areas, the seismic survey was done. They looked into Bombay High, they looked into the Capt Basin, and nearly the Andaman Sea, where the most oils are being located. 6 new wells have been looked into the Bombay High region. 2 blocks have been looked into the Andaman Sea, where the production is going to start. Now, with this expansion plan, the market today, as we speak, is around 425, 130 million. When looking into 2030, it is going to be over 900 million. So there is a huge amount of expansion that is being already roadmapped, and it is underway right now. Now, this is on the regular oil production. There is also emphasis on the offshore wind power. 2 states, that is one on the western side, that's Gujarat, and one on the eastern side, Tamil Nadu. They have been taken for development of offshore wind projects. And we are looking at something like 30 gigawatt power to be produced by 2030. So these are the production areas which are happening in future. These things, of course, do not come straight, they come with a challenge. The challenges are that there is a declining oil production from the existing field, then the operation cost is growing, the government restrictions are increasing day by day. So these are the challenges which are happening. Of course, these challenges are being overcome partially by the technological advancement. A lot of technology is being used, like your real-time monitoring is there, your maintenance is done electronically. So these are the challenges which are being overcome by technology. So we are looking at a very high potential on the offshore sector, going from now to at least 2030. It's very clear defined.
Okay, thank you. So in this context, the government of India is a major stakeholder. We want to explore a bit of what the impact will be on the offshore market of the government's energy targets. So Rajiv, the government aims to reduce energy imports while maintaining GDP growth of 6 to 7%. What role will offshore oil and gas play in meeting those targets, and how will that impact the conventional OSV tonnage, or demand for the conventional OSV tonnage?
First of all, thank you, Mani, for inviting me on the panel. Thank you very much for inviting me for this panel discussion. So, to answer your question, GDP growth will definitely require a stable and affordable energy supply to fuel economic growth, to fuel industrial activities, economic activities. Currently, India is importing around 85% of crude oil, 50% of natural gas. So, if we have to achieve a dual objective of GDP growth as well as reduction in imports, so we definitely will have to look towards increasing domestic production and energy efficiency. And when we look at increase in domestic production, then offshore industry is a key enabler. We have deep water fields, we have ultra deep water fields which hold quite a lot of potential. So this our industry will have to focus on increasing production from these deep water and ultra deep water fields, which will also provide us with reliable and secure energy supply, which will not be dependent, which will avert some of the risk of global supply chain disruption or some price volatility. Then it will have a positive impact on GDP growth as well, because when you have, it will create jobs, it will stimulate industries, attract investment. So all of it is a virtuous cycle. All of this will again impact the GDP growth. So while we will be able to reduce our import bill, we will be able, the government will be able to achieve this target.
Okay, understood. So there's a necessity to invest into further OSV capacity?
Yeah, OSV capacity, because when we are talking about increasing our production, then offshore support vessels will definitely be required. The demand will go up because one, if we are increasing the production in deep water, ultra deep water, then we will need specialized vessels. Secondly, there will be some old tonnage, some old vessels which will need to be scrapped and which will need to be replaced by newer, advanced, fuel efficient vessels. So, of course, the demand is expected to go up.
Understood. Capt. Alok. Alphard Maritime owns and operates OSVs in India and abroad. How attractive, from your point of view, is the Indian market, and what are its key strengths for local owners but also for foreign owners? And how does India play a role in the allocation of your funds versus investing in India or abroad?
Thank you very much. I will never give a straight answer. I don't want competitors to come and flood the market, So I will always confuse you what you should do, what you should not do. Indian offshore market, there is a demand, especially for Indian owners as well as foreign owners. For Indians, there are a lot of opportunity, but for Indian offshore player, funds are not available. They do not have liquidity to buy assets. A PSP today costs you $25 to $30 million. Even older one, 16, 18 million. Nobody has the cash to buy. Okay. Foreign owners, again, offshore was very bad from 2014 till 22. They have also, many of the big owners gone bankrupt. So they can afford to buy the asset. At the same time, when they are getting a good charter hire outside India, why they will come to India and get into red tape, bureaucracy of Indian DG, custom, importation, XYZ. So there is opportunity. If Indian owner gets fund, there is a good market. A strength, 80% of business is controlled by ONGC, which is very, very good paymaster as compared to your oil majors still in West Africa or even Middle East. There is a payment terms, delayed in payment, but ONGC touchwood, very good paymaster. So Indian OSV market, demand will come up, it's coming up. Charter hire is also at par with the international market, discounting the delta for the OPEX. Indian OPEX is 2,500 lower than the international OPEX. So, considering this, I can just say that Indian market is good for Indian owner, foreign owner, but I can't give straight answer when you should come, when you should not come.
Okay, I'll take it. It is attractive, I understand.
attractive, but not too attractive for my competitors who come in.
Rajiv, in your view, what are the key factors driving returns then in the OC market in India? In terms of like charge rates, contract terms, operating expenses.
Yeah, so charter primarily they are the revenue drivers. So then you have longer contracts, so they provide stable revenue, but then spot rates they provide better returns, but then there's volatility. Then contract terms, longer term contracts, of course, bring in good financing terms and all, but then short-term ones, short-term contracts, again, they have the volatility attached to it, and then contracts, if it is a, say, day rate contract is pretty standard, if it is a fixed rate contract, then it will improve returns if you have some escalation clause. So all these contract terms, and then last you said about contract terms, and then third thing,
operating expenses.
yeah, operating expenses. If you see crew cost is a major cost. So it includes not only salaries, trainings, crew logistics, then availability of skilled crew. They come at a premium. So around 40-45% of the total OPEX is your crew cost only. Then you have fuel cost. So if you have older vessels, then older vessels may not be that much fuel efficient. They may not be environmental friendly. Dry docking, maintenance, this is a major cost in itself. It is a capital intensive industry, we all know. Compliance costs, some of the speakers earlier have also spoken about it. So, in a nutshell, I would say returns would be a combination of all the three factors. If one has to, any organization has to have a return, then a dream scenario would be to have newer vessels which are fuel efficient, which are environmentally friendly, long-term contracts, better charter rates, at the same time having a very close eye on the operational expenses, because only with the combination of all these you can expect better returns.
Okay, so Hatim, so when there is an attractive investment opportunity, which there are apparently, the returns can be attractive. How do you fund an acquisition? How do you fund the investment? And could you differentiate between the availability of debt financing for Indian flagged versus foreign flagged vessels?
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Andrew, for the hosting this Marine Money and for such a great event. Thank you, Konstantin, for the question. Coming back to your question regarding the availability of finance for the offshore, I'd first like to highlight some of the opportunities that are there in the offshore market in India. The consumption of Indian barrels per day, million barrels per day, is going from 6 to 9.8 million barrels per day. India aims to become self-independent in terms of energy by 2047. Secondly, India aims to contribute around 3% of the total offshore wind energy production by 2033. And India is one of the largest consumer of the non-OECD countries. So you can see that India has a large offshore potential, and this all potential needs to be met by the local banks. The first thing that any business will be needing the finance. And as you are aware, Indian banks do not have a dedicated finance desk. I may ruffle some feathers over here, but Indian banks do not have a dedicated financing desk. So they do not understand a ship financing as a proper portfolio. They always see it as a mortgage back or a normal portfolio. In terms of, if you see in West, there are multiple types of structures available. There are JOLCOs, there are sale and leaseback structures, there are tax saving structures, there are asset back structures, but in India, we do not find those structures. So for that reason, and secondly, the prime most requirement of the Indian banks is to have an Indian flag vessel. So that also creates, you can say, a lack of opportunity for the Indian owners, because a small ship owner having 3 to 4 or 5 tugs cannot get cheaper finance in India. Secondly, one more important factor is a foreign player cannot operate in India, because in terms of the foreign flag vessels are not allowed to operate with Indian counterparts. And secondly, if any foreign player wants to come in India, the foreign banks are not ready to ready to lend to Indian flag owners. Reason being, they want a flag of convenience. They always want a flag like a Marshall Island, like a Panama or a Liberia, because it becomes easier to operate. So for that reason, foreign lenders are not ready to pitch into the Indian market. So for that reason, there is always been a lack of availability of funds. But with the GIFT City, with the new budget, and there is a new Maritime Development Fund of 25,000 crore that is being allotted. So that is the most needed boost that we needed, the shipping sector needed in terms of the financing that will be available. And secondly, now we are seeing lots of ship owners in India as well as outside India that are establishing companies in GIFT City, that are operating out of GIFT City, and they are able to secure finance to the foreign branches, to the foreign bank. So that has become the most important area. So as of now, GIFT City will be the turning point in the entire structure. If it operates and if it's worked according to its 100% capacity, and if we are able to utilize it, it will be the next best thing that can happen to the offshore industry in India.
Understood. And at the same time, the government is also working to increase shipyard capacity. Capt. Rahul, how does that influence the fleet renewal and the expansion plans?
Indian shipbuilding industry, that's what we're looking at, right? Let's look at what is the shipbuilding industry today in India is. I can just name the yards which are there. Starting from west coast of India, it's like Mascon down in Mumbai. There's a floating repair yard in Mumbai. There's a Goa shipyard. There's a Bangalore. Chowdhury's have just come in. They are doing a good one. It's the Cochin shipyard, and then there's a smaller one, Udupi shipyard, and on the east coast is Garden shipyard. Now, what are they doing all this while? They're only building naval ships or small ships. Goa builds barges, tugs, small tugs, but there is no presently any shipyard. And why there have not been any shipyard? Of course, I missed out the Hindustan shipyard, the Vizag one. But why there have not been any shipyards is because of many things. We need to import the machinery. We can only make a steel, but what about the machinery, pumps, drives, everything? Now that has been lacking. Fortunately, like marine money has done, the offshore sector this time, the government of India also for once they have looked at the shipping sector, and they came up with a lot of incentives which will be tabled in Parliament and passed. We hope that it will go through. So a lot of incentives are coming in here. To begin with, when you are scrapping a ship, when you scrap a ship in India, you get a 40% credit to the tune of the value of the scrap. That credit can be used for building a ship in India, where you get a credit and there's a fund which is being allocated, from there you get. So basically, it's a small money if you actually look at it. If I'm scrapping a ship for $1 million, it's $400,000 only that you're looking at. But when you're building a ship in, say, $20 million, so 400,000 is just nothing. But it's just an incentive which has been given. So it's something to look forward to. Then we had the basic custom duty exemption on the shipbuilding and scrapping facility. Now that has been extended for 10 years. Now when you talk of 10 years, what happens is that you get a roadmap, you get a vision that okay, next 10 years I will have this. Ships are not built overnight, they take time. Your planning takes time, and when you commit to a ship owner, whether it's an Indian or foreigner, there is a map, roadmap given to the ship builder. He knows that for next 10 years now I don't have to pay basic custom duty. So that's a very big incentive, and he can actually plan according to that. So that's another good thing which has come up in this budget. Then they also come up with Maritime Development Fund of 250 billion rupees, which will also be used for maritime sector. Then there's also a shipbuilding finance which they have allocated with a budget of 18,000 crores. That's another big incentive for the maritime world. So I see in total, the government has taken initiative to build it, and now it is only a matter how we, the users, contribute to it and how we take it forward, how we utilize this. It's good that government has given something, but if we don't use it, we leave it, then we are still at the same place. So that's the thing that we're looking at. And forward going, the demand that we are having, the proactiveness of this present government, which is trying to make India self-sufficient, emphasis on Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, that's what we call it. So it's a very good incentive which is there. It's going to drive, and I'm sure we are into more shipbuilding in India. Inland waterways have opened up. We have been talking, like I have known inland waterways from 1993, it's over 30 years that I've been following it up. I suddenly see there is a change there also. The Indian rivers, they are being developed. So there's going to be a requirement to build those inland water ships. There is going to be a lot of opportunity to look forward here.
So speaking of, sorry.
We have been talking about shipbuilding in India. So that is one of the sectors that government is giving boost to. But there needs to be a change in mindset. There needs to be opportunity for the ship financing also. Ship financing in terms of older tonnage, in terms of AHTS. Because shipbuilding ultimately is for the newer assets. But what about the older tonnage that is there in the market? And that they need to be run for another 10 to 20 years until the new ship buildings are there out and are able to satisfy the requirements. So for that period of time, there needs to be a change in the mindset of the banks, there needs to be a change in the mindset of the governments, there needs to be allocation for finance of those older tonnage, of those offshore vessels that are currently there, that are currently deployed and that are currently working well.
So the Indian government is fostering shipping or trying to increase initiatives. One of the main initiatives that we talked about also today is Gift City. Capt. Alok, what's your position on Gift City? What's rationale does it play in your decision to invest into OSVs in India?
Gift City is a very, very good initiative from Government of India. Actually, it's more like ACZ or what you see, FZD company in Dubai and other things. But there is a problem. For any foreign owner coming to India, he wants to have an Indian flag. Gift City is very good route. But financing is still not available. Of course, the people in Gift City are trying their best to bring in the lenders, explaining the rules and regulation, because from Indian flag perspective, mortgage lenders, banks were not happy what has happened earlier. So that's the only hitch which I can see, that once that is solved, you will see a lot of ships being financed through Gift City. Aircraft leasing already happening. We were among first few companies to open up in Gift City. In fact, we imported also first vessel through Capt. One more vessel is getting imported in second week of March. That's a very expensive well stimulation vessel worth about $50–60 million coming through that route. Everything is smooth. The only thing is financing through them is not it.
Okay, understood. Thanks to all of you for providing your thoughts and insights on the OSV market and the potential that it has in India. Are we open to any questions? If there are any. Okay, so I think then we've answered it all, right?
No, we have a question here.
Not, okay.
Hi sir, my name is Captain from Cargo Shipping. My question is from Captain Rahul. Sir, we are talking a lot about ship building, but we are not even ready for ship repairing yet. Whenever the vessel is calling to India, and if there is some emergency or some repairs to be done, whenever owners are calling us, we approach to the port. Hardly any ports is coming up to give us a place for repairing the vessels. We have hardly any facilities to carry out repairs even at anchorage. So first, if you see whether it's Dubai, Singapore or any other nations which has become a shipbuilding nation, initially started with ship repairing first. So why not to approach through this model, and then we all know how big the finance is required for getting into shipbuilding. But first let us have the infrastructure for ship repairing at least one berth at least in all major ports for getting it ship repaired. Why not we discuss about that first?
Yes, Captain, I fully agree with you. I am an Indian shipping company. I own ships in India. I run the ships in India, and I do face the challenges which you just mentioned. Definitely, there is an issue with the ship repairs. What we have is probably a repair facilities which can go and work at the anchorage or something. But if I have a minor dent or something which I need to put in a dry dock for 2 days or 5 days, there is none over there. Other than we have just now got Lafgan, Swan Energy has come up with, they are reactivating the Pipav shipyard. Pipav shipyard is a huge one. Actually the problem there is because the length of the shipyard is such a big, putting a small boat is very expensive because the entire water has to be pumped out and repumped in. So that's the thing. Yes, definitely. Now what the policies are coming, if I go more in details into the shipbuilding facilities which government is proposing, the areas which they are coming up is the Paradip port. One, a new sector is coming up in Paradip port. One allocated, besides the Paradip port, there is another area which is being developed solely for the repair and shipbuilding. That is in the budget of this year. Then they have, in Andhra, they have allocated certain ports near Machilipatnam and adjoining. I can't remember the exact name, it's a little difficult for me to pronounce. There they are coming up. The entire port is being built for ship repair and shipbuilding. So these are the two areas which I am aware of where a lot of work is already on the ground. It's happening. So we are going forward. You may not see overnight. Maybe after 5 years, within 5 years' time, these things will come up. This is the plan as per this budget. Yes, repairing will be a challenge. Will continue to be a challenge.
We don't have any post except the port.
That I'll ask Rajnish who spoke about the port to tell.
Okay, thank you very much. I think our time is up, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm not sure we can give it.
Okay.
One more question.
So what happens if the shipbuilder goes bankrupt?
So I'll tell you a story. I was working with pressure shipping in Thailand, and we ordered 5 ships in one of the Chinese small yards, a 16,000 tonner. 5 ships were ordered. We got the first ship delivered, second ship delivered, the third ship delivered, the fourth one. When we came to the fourth one, it was the year of 1997, the Asian crisis struck, which also impacted all the shipping companies and everything. The crux was either we pay the money for the fourth, or the yard, we have to pay it, otherwise we will not get it and the yard will sell it. So we managed to raise finance and we managed to get the fourth and fifth out. But in the bargain, the fourth one out, and the fifth one, they could not deliver because the yard went bankrupt. And we had a huge claim. And that case kept on going and never got settled. But we got the fifth ship at half the price. That's what happens.
And so what happens if the ship owner goes bankrupt?
That's all the money that you have pledged, the initial 10%, the in-building money that you have given, that is written off. And you as a lawyer, you know what the best.
I think for the next story, money will need an additional panel on this. Yeah? Perfect.